Right, so we're back on this again. It's Thursday the 20th of November 10:17. The board has just arrived here in this big box. It's not quite as straightforward as I thought. Yeah, sorry about that, phone just rang. Right, so the instructions tell me that to fit a new board you've got to set a regional code before the board will work, and for that of course you need a special remote controller, service remote. So hopefully them two will be in this box. I've ordered the remote control and the board. Let's get it open and have a look what we've got. Yeah, well that's it, that's what we want, the brand new board and the Samsung service remote control to set it up. Now if you think I'm just going to fit this board, you'd be wrong. I'm going to fit this board and make sure it is that, and then if it is that, if this does cure the fault, I'm going to be making comparison tests on this and with the old board, and we'll see if my theory about a supply rail missing because of an inboard open circuit track is correct. So that's the plan anyway, to fit the new board. If it works, I'll be looking at repairing this. So let's come back in a little while. Yeah, I won't just get it out of the bag yet, but right, I'll come back in a bit, guys and girls. Right, well, as soon as I unpacked it I thought they sent the wrong one, but for some reason it's still got these on from the factory, and it looks like you've got to break these off yourself. I don't know why they can't do that at the factory. Anyway, I've only broke this one off just so I can get the one connect box in, and have a guess what happened. Yeah, you guessed it, it's no different than it was before. How unbelievable is that? But so to just get it going again, I put the resistor back in here. Let's turn it on. I have learnt something from this new board. You see, this board with all these HDMIs and everything and satellite, and also on there's a serial EEPROM. You would have thought that this stored all the software for the TV, but apparently not. Because also there's a board in the TV, and let me show you why I've discovered that this doesn't hold the software for the TV. Let me just show you, because this only comes up for a split second. Let's turn it on. Is it on yet? I don't know why it's not come on. Right, you just didn't see that. It's too... Oh, there it is. Look, Fritz. It's come up with my router. So, the router settings are stored in the TV, not on this board like I would have imagined. But if you look at that, it's come on just like it was before. It doesn't even know this is a brand new board. That's just how it came on, with a resistor and the old board. So the board in the TV does a lot more than I actually thought. I thought it was just take the signal in and convert it to LVDS to drive the screen, but obviously it's not. Obviously it's got software in. I bet if we go into the menu we'll have that new software. Let's just try that next. Right, so here we go. Software. Oh, checking for updates. Look, it's actually got the date there that we checked for the last software, and there's no new software updates. And if you look at that, the current version 1500, that's the one I downloaded with the old board in. So the operating software for the telly is not stored in this EEPROM in the One Connect box. Another interesting thing, another observation I've made, which you might like to make a mental note of. People say on the internet that if this optical socket's not lit, this box is faulty. Well, if you look in there, it's not lit with a brand new board, so that seems to discount the theory that if that's lit, the box is working, because obviously it's a brand new board and it's still not lit. So what are we down to now? We're down to this lead, or are we down to the board in the telly? Yeah, a big decision to make. Right, guys and girls, you're not going to believe this. I think I've made one huge big mistake here. Do you know, I think it's this cable that's faulty. If you remember in the beginning, we discounted the cable because I pointed it at the TV and it turned it on and off. I pointed it at this box and I turned it on and off while covering up the TV. And I thought, it can't be the cable because we've got communication between this down the cable to the TV. And if you check this remote, I'll test it on my infrared remote control tester, look. So you can see that remote control works, but what have I just realised? This isn't just an infrared remote control, it's got wireless built in. And you know how I know it's got wireless built in? Because if you see there, I'm changing the menus by pressing the home page, and I've actually got the remote control in my pocket. So this isn't just infrared, it's wireless, and that's what threw me. If I only had realised in that at the beginning. So I think it is actually this cable that's faulty, because when we use this, I thought we were transmitting the signal to here on the power supply of the One Connect box, and we're actually transmitting the signal directly to the TV through the wireless. So the next option, I think, would be to replace that cable now. Right, well, now I've got the service remote, at least I can try one more thing before we order a new cable, and that is the factory reset. Let's see if that does anything. Right, so that's the factory factory reset performed. Now, if that's done anything and we take the resistor out, the set will stay on. If I pull the resistor out and the set goes off, it's not a factory reset. So here we go. No. So it does look like the next thing to do is replace that lead, which again I'm going to have to order, so we're going to have to come back in another day or two's time. Right, so here we are, next day. I've got a bit of a bad throat, so you'll have to excuse me if I'm a bit croaky, but the parcel's arrived and it's very big because there should be a roll of solder in there as well. And there we go. That's rather well packed for such a big box. And there is my 1 kilo roll of solder. Right. Right, now I've actually noticed on here the part number is different to the original lead. I wonder if they've had a problem with these, but as you can see, that's the old one, or when it comes into focus, BN3902470, and this one supplied is a BN3903006A. So I wonder if this is a modified lead, but there you go, that's the lead. I'm going to put the kettle on first and make a brew before I fit this. Fingers crossed this is going to cure it. So come back in a few minutes. Right, here we go. So the moment of truth, that's the cable I've taken out. This is the new one that's just arrived. It's plugged in. I'm working on the brand new board. It's plugged to the power supply. You can see there I've removed the resistor. I'm going to turn it on here. And here we go. 3, 2, 1. And look at that, it's come on with no resistor. Yeah, and that's because I factory reset it. It's back to how it was when it was brand new now. So it'll all want setting up again. But what I might do is I might just set a couple of things up. And then we can just try it on the HDMI. But that appears to be okay, because let's make sure it turns off with the remote. Yep, it turns off with the remote. And it turns back on with the remote. So there you go. That was the problem. Now, just out of interest, let's see if that optical thing's lit up on the back of here. Oh yeah, I can see it lit up there, look. So what I've read on the internet doesn't appear to be true. People were saying that if this isn't lit up, then your one connect box isn't working. But that's obviously not the case, is it? Because this didn't light up with a brand new board and the old lead. Right, so I'm just going to play around with this and then we'll get an HDMI into it. But everything appears to be okay so far. Oh, and I'll tell you what else I'm going to do. I'm going to check some of these voltages and I'll write them down on a piece of paper for future reference. The one I'm interested in is the one that had less than 1 volt on there. Let's just see what's on there quickly. Here we go, that's the one down there. Right, we're connected. Oh, and look at that. The voltage I thought was wrong, just less than 1 volt, is actually right. So that was right all along. Let's just try these down here. So that's the one that had no voltage on. That's now got 2.5 on, and the other place up here, there we go, BD 400. Get that connected up, and that's got 3.3 on. So the voltages that I thought were missing, I thought one of them would actually come from the 13 volt rail. That was totally wrong assumption, that. And also, let's just try these FETs as well. Yeah, 3.3 nearly going in there. So there we go. That's the next plan. It's just to draw a quick sketch of that and mark some voltages for future reference. And then we'll get an HDMI connected to this. But yeah, that's it. That was your problem. So I've just come to set up wireless connection. If you look at that, it's still got my wireless stored in the TV, even though we're using the brand new board. So the board in the TV is actually controlling a lot more than I thought as well. And there you go, that's working on HDMI now from a Skybox over there. Now the interesting thing is on this new board, these bits you break off here, they've got some printed circuit board tracks on and they've got holes for sockets. And if you look, it's got a part number on here. I wonder if these are some sort of service jig or some sort of to make an adapter up to test something in the telly. Yeah, very interesting that. So you've got, it's not just blank board like that. It's actually got tracks on some sockets. So yeah, I'm going to keep them anyway. And one other interesting little thing I found, these 6-pin devices here, which I thought were power MOSFETs or some sort of switching device, a power switching device. They're not, they're actually linear regulators, because if you look at IC206, we've got 3.2 going in, but only 1.8 coming out. And on that one we've got 3.2 in and 2.5 coming out. So what I thought were MOSFET power switches there are not. They are linear regulators. Right, so I think this is a good opportunity now to take time and run you through the workings of this optical socket, because a few people have suggested on the internet if that's not lit up the box isn't working, which I've actually found that to be wrong. But this does work in a most peculiar way. So let me just show you this. So at the moment the box is plugged in, but it's not switched on at the wall here. Now if I switch it on at the wall and then we look at the back of the box, the optical is not lit. Now if you take the remote control and you turn the telly on, did you see that? As soon as the telly comes on, the optical socket lights up. But if we now turn the remote control off, sorry, turn the telly off with the remote control, the optical light stays on all the time. So from first powering up at the mains, like now, the optical socket isn't lit at all. But once you've turned the telly on once with the remote, next time you turn it off with the remote, that stays lit all the time. So we've cleared up that confusion. Now I've also found if you unplug this, that optical light doesn't light up whether you press the standby button on the remote control or not. But you can see now the telly's in standby and the socket's still lit up. So I hope somebody will find that useful. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to set up this new board with a service remote, and then I'm going to factory reset the telly, so when the customer gets it back he can set it all up himself. Now I'm just looking at this here. I can't be 100% sure without looking back on the video, but I'm sure these two lines here with the faulty lead said fail there, and it says success on there. Like I say, I can't be 100% sure. That's just from memory. I could watch the video back if I want, but I'll leave that up to you. Right, so there we go. That's the factory reset done. I've noticed another interesting thing about that optical socket on the back. So let's just turn the telly on and you'll see that's the optical lit there. Now that's come on just like the set came out of the box all ready to set up. But I've noticed now if we turn it to standby now, the optical light goes out again. So it only lights when that's in standby, when the TV's actually all been set up. When it's in factory like it came out the box, this only lights up when you turn the telly on and off, if that makes sense. Right, anyway, that's it. I've set the region code with the remote control for the new board, and that's all ready to take now. So it's been an interesting journey. I'm sure you watching this video have learnt as much as I have about these sets. But anyway, there you go. The job's done, and we're on to the next one now. So I'll catch you in the next video then. Many thanks for watching. Goodbye.